What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. And today we are, as you can see, I am finally making a video. Look at the quality difference. Hopefully there's not a mess back there. Let's adjust the camera. There we go. Hopefully there's not a mess. But look, we are finally back, and today we are talking about NBA playing. Now, as you can see, I missed the first round completely. I didn't even speak about it. I didn't even do no video on it. I haven't made a video in since Tom Brady retired. And the dude unretired. So that video is scraped completely. I was sad. Now I'm rejoicing. But listen. No, we need to make a YouTube video because the first round of the play-in tournament was actually a lot better than I expected. Now, I will tell you, I'm going to brag a little bit. I predicted the 4 teams that won to win. This year was a little bit easier than last year when we had the Lakers versus the Warriors. But either way, this year's play-in tournament was actually really fun to watch. Especially that Clippers-Timberwolves game. And I know y'all are mad because Patrick Beverley's out here celebrating like they won the NBA championship. But look, bro, listen. The man was on the Clippers and he got traded from the Clippers. And then he beat the Clippers. Bro, how could he not be happy to do that? He did what he wanted to do. Beat the Clippers. And honestly, that's awesome. It's an amazing story. I can't even lie to you. And I loved it. But the play-in tournament so far, we've had 2 good games and 2, whatever. Let's just get this out of here. Let's get this over with. Let's get on to the next game, which was the Cavalier game and also the Atlanta Hawks versus Charlotte Hornets. I did expect more out of the Hornets, but it's whatever, man. It's such a weird game to play in. But what I actually want to talk about today is the second round of the play-in tournament. As you know, tomorrow we have 2 games. Well, maybe today, depending on when you watch this. We have 2 games going on, and also in the future, I do want to talk about future playoff matchups and the matchups I'm most excited for. Hint, hint, Grizzlies versus Timberwolves. That is a game, that is a series I cannot wait to watch. That is going to be fun. Bulls versus Bucks. I can't wait to cheer on. There's a lot going on. But anyways, okay, let's get into our play-in tournament day 3 picks. So, in the first game, we have the Eastern, which is obviously the Cavaliers, who lost against the Nets. And then we will have the Atlanta Hawks, who beat the Hornets. There we go. I had just said it too. So let me just give me a break, man. This is my first video back. So, in this game, I'm not really going to think about it too much, but then again, you should. So, look, here's the thing. The Hawks, they are really bad at defense. The Cavaliers, they are actually pretty good at defense. So, now the question becomes okay, how do we run this? What do we do? How should we do it? In my opinion, I don't think size and defense is a problem against the Hawks unless they're missing shots. And what I mean by that is you have Bogdanovich. You have Trae Young. Why did I list Bogdanovich first? Ignore that. You have Trae Young as your starter. You got John Collins. I don't remember if John Collins is injured. Don't quote me on that. I do not watch many Hawks games. We got John Collins. We have Gallinari. We have Clint Capella as a roller. He's good as a roller, not as a shooter, but as a roller. Clint Capella is actually pretty good. So now, as you can see, this Hawks offense is actually a really good offense, especially when they're making shots. Now, the Hawks are like the Brooklyn Nets, and as you've seen throughout the season, clearly when the Hawks miss, they're pretty bad. I mean, that's why their record is so bad, because they just suck at making shots recently, but in the last tournament game, they actually make shots, and that's the difference between them. The Hawks, they're like the Rockets, where they don't need that much defense, but they do have their defenders. I don't know if Kevin Knox is getting minutes. I'm going to be honest with you. Again, I don't care about the Hawks, dude. I'm an Orlando Magic fan. You think I care about the Hawks? No, but in all seriousness, they have DeAndre Hunter, who I hope is playing. I'm pretty sure he is. He can actually play some solid defense, and especially if it's for a 1-game series. Now, if you have DeAndre Hunter in a 7-game series, obviously you're going to figure out how to score on him. But regardless, in a 1-game series, you need your best defender possible, which is basically DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capella. And in this game against the Cavs, you're going to want Clint Capella in the paint banging with Mobley and Jared Allen, which I think Jared Allen will play. I'm not sure yet, but I have an idea, and I actually do think he will play. Now, Evan Mobley, oh man. Now, the thing is, you're going to have two big bodies down there in the paint, but again, this isn't much of a concern for the Hawks because the Hawks beat the 76ers in a 7-game series. So, what I've noticed with the Hawks is, as long as their shot is falling, as long as they're getting buckets on you, they're unstoppable. I mean, if Kevin Huerter is knocking down shots, Trae Young is knocking down shots, at least Gallinari or Bogdanovic are making shots, then they have a huge chance to win the game. And that's literally how the Hawks can play. No defense and just score. But the Hawks, maybe they do play some defense. But in a one-game series, Hawks versus Cavaliers, it's a really tough pick because you have Darius Garland on the other side along with Karis LeVert, and they have a good roster. So it really just comes down to the final possession, which I think this game will end off in one of those, we don't have enough time to get the next bucket, so it's just going to end here. And in the end, I actually have the Cleveland Cavaliers beating the Hawks. I actually hope and wish that the Cavaliers beat the Hawks. And also, remember, who is it? The Cavaliers, they got that guy from, who is it? The Cavaliers have Isaac Okoro, who, he's going to be the guy guarding Trae Young. I don't know who else you put on him. In my opinion, you just throw Isaac Okoro on him and say, yo, do your best. So, in the end, I got the Cavaliers winning this game simply because I just can't rely on the Hawks. Because, as we've seen, a system where it's just get buckets, keep it going, it's not really too good. So, in the end, I got the Cavaliers beating the Hawks. I'm like 7 minutes into the video, and that's when I said that. So, we got a long way. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, in our next game, we have the Los Angeles Clippers against... I actually have to check. In the West, we have the Clippers versus the New Orleans Pelicans, and I think this game is going to be phenomenal. So, as you saw, Paul George had a horrible, horrible first game, but so did Karl Anthony Towns, so it kind of cancels itself out, I guess you could say. But, I mean, you have a roster of 3-and-D guys against the Pelicans, who is a roster of 3-and-D guys. Like, it's literally two of both worlds just mixing. I mean, one end you have Paul George, the other end you have, I almost said Kawhi Leonard. You don't have Kawhi Leonard, Clipper fans. He's not playing. He's injured. But anyways, on one end you have Brandon Ingram, on the other one you have Paul George, and then you have a bunch of 3-and-D role players, essentially, which they're all super vital. I wish Zion could play. If Zion was playing, the Pelicans wouldn't even be in this position to begin with. But no, sincerely, I do believe that the Clippers are going to win this game just based off of experience. Now, I could have said that against the Timberwolves and they still lost, which is a huge deal because that just goes to show age doesn't always matter. But in the end, I do think that the Clippers are going to win this game to become the 8th seed, go against the Phoenix Suns, simply because, man, the Pelicans, they've been battling a lot this year. They've battled through so much BS. So I sincerely think that the Pelicans will lose this game. They'll start building up for next year. So I do believe that the Pelicans are going to lose this game, and I have the Clippers making it to the 8th seed. So now with these picks, I do have to say, because it's a one-game elimination, none of these picks can really be spot on simply because, dude, it's a one-game elimination. As we saw, Paul George had a bad game, and they lost. You can't have a bad game. You have to play as best as you can to your best ability. The Hornets had no energy, and they just lost completely. Now they're eliminated. So it's all a huge deal of who has the most energy and who's making shots. And that's what these games come down to. That's what March Madness comes down to. March Madness is who gets hot when it matters. So in the end, I do have those two teams making it. But don't be surprised if a different team makes it. And I do think that once we get these two 8 seeds settled out, the 1 versus 8 seed matchup is actually going to be some good games. Because if we have Suns versus Clippers, that's a good series. Remember, they were in the Western Conference last year without Kawhi Leonard, which is a pretty big deal. And then on the other side, in the East, you would have, who's first? You would have the Miami Heat against the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is also one hell of a series. So no matter how you look at it, no matter what series you're looking at, I do believe this year every single series is going to be a fun one to watch. the one I am most excited for has to be Grizzlies versus Timberwolves. So, that is all I have for you today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate all the love and support. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the button to be notified for every single time I upload. And I will see you on the next one. Peace out.